Soothing Sounds of Rain with Isaiah Harris. Alright, that bit's going on long enough. Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is just a general thank you, Thunder. Should have waited for Thunder to come back, but you know, whatever. Today's video is going to be about just a general conversation with all the people of the world. And the conversation is about being human. Now, when I say being human, I don't mean being a male, being a female, whatever you identify as, because if you identify as something other than those two straight genders, that is your choice. And I'm not going to say you're not a human because you identify other than a male or a female. You're still a human being. So I will still encompass you into this conversation as I try to speak to the masses. Now, being human is such a broad topic that when it comes to just generally talking about it, you would think that a person can't really summarize being human in like 10 to 12 minutes, or can't exactly go on talking about it without, as some people say, end up word vomiting, which is just a constant stream of words tied to the topic that don't really make sense, or after a certain time just generally babble on. But I'm going to try to cover some things in being human that a lot of people find hard to deal with. Firstly, when it comes to being human, there comes the mistakes. The mistakes that we make as humans. The things we regret doing, the decisions that we think back to and see our lives being in better standing if we wouldn't have made, and just the general idea that you could be better off than you actually are at this point in time. And just the general idea that you can be better off now if you made smarter decisions in your past. But I'm one to think that everything happens for a reason and has happened for a reason. So I'm never one to say, yeah, I want to go change this, because I think back to the present and say to myself, if I change the past, my present won't be the same. I won't be living with my friend of like 7 to 8 years. I won't have a girlfriend for 4 of them. And I won't have the job that I have now. And to some people, they want better jobs, they want more stable living, and just a general sense of security. But just because you don't have it at this time in your life doesn't mean that you have missed your window for achieving it. And just because it hasn't happened by a set date on a certain calendar that you have set for yourself doesn't mean it is now incapable of happening. So, easier said than done, because we're a race that can give advice but doesn't really accept advice too heavy, is don't beat yourself up about things. Don't let the fact that you're not where you want to be stop you from progressing. And that's just one topic. The next topic I want to talk about is just your general connection to the world around you. Everyone needs to be a little conscious of the world around them, because without it, you can't exactly participate with society. And everything you want to do, you can do, but as long as it's acceptable by society, and that is a debate in itself on what is and what isn't acceptable for society. But it all depends on your moral compass and the way you were raised of what you deem acceptable and what you don't. So with that, I say never stop trying to connect, because thunder is about to happen. I'm warning you now. I wonder if my phone is picking this up really heavy or not. But I continue. If it lets me finish. Alright, so never stop striving for bonds and communications and connections to people, because a connection to a person outside yourself, or a group of people outside yourself that generally are striving to reach an end goal through good-willed intentions and honest working and living, even though they're even if you're bare minimum struggling, or the most successful person you can be at this point in time in your life, as long as you surround yourself with connections that improve you as a person, or you improve the person you connect to as a person, you're always learning, getting smarter, and growing. So never stop learning, getting smarter, growing. Never forget the people that have got you to where you are. Never just trade the new for the old, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of extroverts out there that can say they have more friends than they can count on their hands and toes, and that's good. But if you are a kind of earthworm in which what you absorb, there's also something being spit out or expunged from yourself, then you're not in a state of growth. You're always in a stagnant state of being, because you're never excelling at becoming a better person, because you're dropping a connection for a connection. And you shouldn't do that, in the sense of that limits you as a person. And a lot of people that have the big goals, the high money-making goals, the stability, you can't become stable if you're not willing to grow. And you can say that something that's in constant growth can't be stable, but the happiness that you get from the stability that you reach to achieve depends on yourself. If you never find what you do to sustain or satisfy you, you will always be climbing uphill. You will always be reaching for that extra goal, which is never a bad thing, to always strive for excellence or strive for a certain level of betterness. But if you are never happy with where you are, the strive for betterness won't be a peaceful enlightenment, but more so a stressful struggle to always be better than you are. And if you never look at the good that you've done, you will always be unhappy with yourself. So, in being human, we all need to understand mistakes will happen. Mistakes will be made. Regrets are regrets, because we're humans and we don't have the mind to split our decisions down the path of life and live all the split decisions that we made. We can't wake up one day, decide between having cereal and oatmeal, and live both lives where you had cereal and you had oatmeal, and continue out living those lives. We only have one life to live. We have to do it to the best of our ability. If that means there's hard times for you, there's going to be hard times. Don't look at hard times as you're not living your best life. Just think of them as a step that you take to the path of reaching a goal. A hard time isn't the end of the world or you're failing as a person. It's progress by one mean or another. It's progress by the means of you're actually making life difficult in order to improve yourself, or you're making life difficult by not incorporating others into your life. Life is going to get difficult whether you sit around doing nothing and avoiding conflict, or whether you go head first, hit the ground running into everything. So never think that difficulty in your life means that you're just generally a bad person. And that's my 10-minute, 11-minute, technically 9 if you count the minute I sat listening to Rain, summary of what it is to be human and the problems that plague us as a society in this day and age. People feeling bad about the mistakes, people feeling regretful, and people just generally thinking they're not good enough. You need to stop thinking that. And as tired as I want to get saying this, and as we all know that everything is easier said than done, be the person that does the not hard thing. Be the person that opens their mind, accepts advice. Be the person that takes the good with the bad and doesn't let it stop them. If something is easier said than done, doing it only makes you stronger as a person. Like, even if it's as trivial as doing 25 push-ups is easier said than done, then be the one to do those 25 push-ups. Working a full-time job and going to school is easier said than done, then be that person that works and goes to school if you want to be that person. Be that person that makes a YouTube channel off of a confident rise in character, and be that person that continues to do it even though the days he doesn't feel like doing it. I'm still going to give you YouTube content, because for the less than 50, I'm going to say it's around the 20 range subscribers I do have, I appreciate every one of you, even though some of you are family, some of you are friends, and some of you just generally here because I shared my YouTube videos with you on Facebook. But if something seems easier said than done, be the one to do it. Because saying something is easier said than done, to me, at this day and age, and then at this time in our lives, if you're old, young, or somewhere in the middle, that's an excuse, to be honest. Because saying something is easier said than done is just saying, like, yeah, the way you say it is easy, but doing it will be harder. Even if doing it will be harder, that doesn't mean don't do it. If you want to give yourself a specific workout regimen, do it. If you miss a day, as long as you go back to doing what you said you wanted to do, you're still doing it. If you're working and you get sick and you can't go to work, but you still want to make your money, as long as you go back to work, you're still doing it. Don't take easier said than done as an excuse anymore in our day and age, because in our day and age, we're no longer fighting to be the smartest or the strongest, or it's no longer only the strong will survive and fight in just a general fight for survival. It's every person is an individual that has the potential to become the best person they can be, and whoever that is, they must strive towards it themselves. Help is help, and I'm not saying don't accept help. Accept help at any turn if you can, but don't let your life be solely, I want to do this alone, or if I don't have anybody around me, I can't do it. You can be somewhere in the middle. You can get help and still do things for yourself. So, never take easier said than done as an excuse anymore. Everybody's smart, everybody's dedicated, everybody has passion, and everybody's capable of doing what they need to do to get what they want done. So never let easier said than done be the excuse. We're all human. We all can do great things. So don't hinder yourself and just go for it. I appreciate you all. I love you all. To all who watched this video, thanks. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed or if you haven't joined this community of me spouting random advice to the masses, welcome, or feel free to join us. I will be here for you. If you want to talk, you want to message, I'm like 60 to 70% available most of the time. So just generally hit me up if you need to talk. Hit anybody else up if you need to talk, because I know everybody has someone to talk to. Never feel like you're a burden to a person to where you can't talk to them, because you talking to them can mean just as much to them that you see them as help as you actually using them to talk about your problems. Because some people are just out there to generally help and make the people around them feel better. So if you show somebody that you're that for them, or they're that for you, they're saving you as much as you're saving them. So love you guys. I will see y'all when I see y'all. I'm gonna try to get a more strict schedule out, because after those 2 or 3 weeks of hitting the ground running, last week kind of tripped me up, and now I gotta get back up and keep on moving. So if y'all want more of this, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, because if you don't, you won't get my content, because YouTube won't show it, because I'm not popular enough to just be in a normal feed. So yeah, love you guys. I will see y'all when I see y'all in the next video. I am doing finger guns even though you can't see it. That's why my words are so staggered. See ya.